Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Conversation Corner. I'm Sarah, your host for today.
And I'm Mark, your co-host. We're thrilled to have you join us as we embark on this exciting journey of learning English through practical, real-world topics.
That's right, Mark. Today's episode is all about mastering the skill of interviewing experts. This is episode 1 of our series, and we're starting with the basics, while also diving deep into what makes an interview successful.
Whether you're preparing for a podcast, a job, or even a school project, interviewing experts is a valuable skill. It's not just about asking questions. It's about connecting, learning, and delivering value to your audience.
Let's break it down step by step.
Step 1. Understand the purpose of the interview.
The first step is understanding why you're conducting the interview. What is your goal?
Exactly, Sarah. Let's say you're interviewing a scientist. Is your purpose to understand their latest research? Or is it to inspire young students to pursue science?
Knowing your purpose shapes the direction of your interview and helps you stay focused.
It's also important to consider your audience. What do they want to know? Always keep their interests in mind.
For example, if your audience is students, you might want to focus on the expert's journey and advice for young learners.
That's a great point. Write down your objectives clearly before you start planning.
Step 2. Research your guest thoroughly.
The next step is research. Learn everything you can about your guest.
Yes, research is the backbone of any good interview. Read their books, articles, or watch their talks if available.
For example, if you're interviewing a chef, look at their recipes, watch their cooking shows, and even read reviews of their restaurants.
Research helps you create meaningful questions and also shows the guest that you respect their expertise.
And here's a pro tip. Don't just research their professional life. Find out about their hobbies or personal interests. It helps build rapport.
Step 3. Prepare your questions.
Once you've done your research, it's time to prepare your questions.
Your questions should be a mix of general and specific ones. Start with broad questions like, "Can you tell us about your journey in this field?"
Then move to specific ones. For example, what inspired your award-winning recipe for chocolate cake?
And don't forget to prioritize open-ended questions. These encourage detailed responses. Avoid yes/no questions as much as possible.
Here's an example. Instead of asking, "Did you enjoy writing your book?" ask, "What was the most rewarding part of writing your book?"
Brilliant! And always keep a few follow-up questions ready in case the conversation takes an interesting turn.
Step 4. Build a comfortable environment.
Now, let's talk about the actual interview. Start by making your guest feel comfortable.
Yes, a relaxed guest will give better answers. Start with a warm greeting and perhaps a light conversation.
For example, if the interview is virtual, ask, "How's the weather where you are?" or "Did you have any trouble finding time for this?"
Creating a friendly vibe makes the guest open up more during the interview.
Step 5. Active listening.
This is the most crucial skill, active listening.
Absolutely. Pay close attention to what the guest is saying. It's not just about your next question. It's about engaging with their responses.
For instance, if a guest mentions a challenge they faced, you can say, "That sounds tough. How did you overcome it?"
Active listening helps make the conversation more natural and less robotic.
And remember to maintain eye contact if it's a face-to-face or video interview. It shows respect and attentiveness.
Step 6. Keep the flow natural.
While it's good to have prepared questions, don't stick to them rigidly.
Yes, sometimes the best insights come from unexpected parts of the conversation.
For example, if a scientist mentions a funny story about their first experiment, don't ignore it. Ask them to elaborate.
Be flexible. Let the conversation flow naturally while keeping an eye on the time.
Step 7. Summarize and conclude.
As the interview comes to an end, summarize the key points discussed.
This helps your audience remember the main takeaways and shows your guest that you've been paying attention.
For example, you can say, "So today, we learned about your journey as a chef, your inspiration for recipes, and your advice for aspiring cooks."
Finally, thank your guest warmly and invite them to share any closing thoughts or messages.
Step 8. Reflect and improve.
After the interview, take some time to reflect. What went well? What could be improved?
Feedback is essential for growth. You can even ask your guests for feedback on their experience.
And don't forget to analyze the audience's response. Did they enjoy it? What can you do better next time?
Conclusion.
So there you have it, our step-by-step guide to interviewing experts.
Interviews are not just about asking questions. They're about creating meaningful conversations and learning from others.
We hope you found these steps helpful. In our next episode, we'll dive into a live mock interview with an expert.
That's going to be exciting. Until then, keep learning, keep practicing, and remember, every expert was once a beginner.